Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next session in From Nothing, Lorna's story. Now we are picking up right where we left off, as Lorna has just left the Warlock's classroom. So
With
I'll move
like
the map to the
8
mirror
new
guard.
fears.
8, yes.
Yeah,
Count them in one
approximately.
hand.
hmm
Okay. So, what do you do?
Remembering what Elise has told me, and that she's going to start asking some questions, and feeling very nervous about the potentiality of what her questions could judge up. Um, she's going to go to a more familiar face and find Tabernac for a quick little chat.
Okay.
She has also finished her assignment, so she might as well report back to him.
That's fair. So you are heading straight to Tabernac's classroom.
Talking to all the teachers today.
All right. As you enter Tabernac's classroom, it is pretty early in the afternoon. It's about, I believe it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. As you enter, Callie and Hallowell Halitheth are
I'm
both.
Halloweth.
Yes, you're Halloweth. Are both. Why did we do this? Are both in the classroom. Callie and Hallowell are both at the same table for the first time ever, and you see there
I
is a
knew.
very broad map on the table. You see Callie's at one end of the map, and Hallowell is at the other. And as you enter, they both look up, and Hallowell says, welcome back. And then he immediately turns attention to the map. Callie, however, looking up at you, says, "Oh, it's good to see her back. How did everything go?"
Since Halliwell looked back down, she's gonna look at Callie and just kind of make like a face at their sharing of the same space.
Uh, Callie just So Callie looks at you as you make that face, and she glances over at Hallowell, and she says, "You wish."
Lorna will just wiggle her eyebrows, but she'll follow up with, "It went well. I'm still in one piece.
I see
Uh,
that.
Tabernac is in, of
He's always in. He's down on the
course.
stage.
Right. I'll come back to fill you in on the details
I
later.
expect riveting stories.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get them."
She smiles at you as you walk by, and she returns her attention to the map.
I go find Tabernac.
As you descend the stairs, climbing down from the balcony, you see Tabernac in dragon form, laid out over his stage as usual. He has an unusually large assortment of books and scrolls open up on the stage in front of him, and you see it looks like he is cross-referencing. He's picking up a book, setting it down, never with his actual claws, with mage hands and unseen servants, as the books and tomes float in front of him, carried by unseen servants, and then set back down. It's like an almost choreographed dance as he looks over them and looks over the next ones. And he glances up as you're entering, and he says, "Lorna, it is good to see you again."
Good afternoon. I've just arrived. Well, I made a pit stop, but I've mostly just arrived.
"I suspect you have good news for me."
I do. I've completed my assignment. My escort is in one piece. At least I left it that way.
"Well done." And you see he's still distracted by the books. What are you thinking about right now?
She is. I think her hand would reach up to her new amulet. She would idly, like, thumb over the material of it and think, I suppose this would have stopped him from looking in on me when I was on my assignment.
Yes, it did.
Oh, that wasn't on purpose. It wasn't to keep you out, I promise, sir.
Whatever your reasons for acquiring such protections, I will never assume malevolence from a student who is paying me to keep them safe. However, you are aware I cannot ensure your safety when I cannot see you, correct?
So, when I donned this, apparently I didn't think of quite a few things.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm in the process of weighing what I find higher on the list of priorities. If you'll bear with me, I'll be making my decision shortly.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the repercussions.
I cannot guarantee your safety on free agencies, so long as you wear a device that protects you from divine magics. However, I realize students here at the Merigard Academy come from all sorts of backgrounds. All various entities may share some enmity with our students before they are granted the amnesty clause. So, whatever it is in your history that you are running from, I care not. I only demand you understand the consequences of wearing such a device.
I I do understand.
Good. He closes the book, and he looks at you and he says, I would like a report.
She fills him in on
Okay.
everything leading up to Augur City and the King's Mood and the election of Ease Demerick and nothing personal.
Okay. You fill him in on basically everything official.
Mm-hmm.
And after it all, Tabernac says, It sounds as though you had a very eventful trip.
I think I accomplished quite a bit of networking, actually.
Is that so?
Well, Callowin offered me a job after the fact. I said I would genuinely consider it, but, I have plenty of time.
Of course you do. And should your future lie with the Northamakers, more power to you.
I did stop at the Arcanium when I was there. A nice opportunity to get some reading done. And there were a few things I came across that I wasn't able to dig a little deeper into, and I wanted to hear your thoughts, or if you had maybe an answer for me. I'm sorry, I'm beating around the bush.
But please get to the point.
So can you explain to me what a sacrarium is?
One moment. In what context?
I suppose the context I was learning of it in was a tool for accomplishing great magical feats.
I see. Yes. A sacrarium in this context. Are you familiar with what a phylactery is?
Am I?
Roll an Arcana check.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. You know that a phylactery is a vessel for one's soul. A sacrarium. Tabernac looks at you, and as you say, you know what a phylactery is. I assume you do say that.
Yes, she does. Well, she would say, I believe it's an object one may keep their soul in.
A sacrarium is a permanent location one would build where you may... What's the word I'm looking for? Gather a magical resource. In this case, for a sacrarium, likely souls. And they would be in safekeeping until they were needed.
Like a vault.
Yes, a vault, but specifically one impervious to outside magics, but also outside spirits
and other forces that could penetrate the vault. One, say, where a spirit or a soul might be able to pass through, a sacrarium would be impenetrable to, both in and out.
Makes sense. If you were trying to keep souls in one place, and I would believe they don't exactly ascribe to walls as a limitation.
Typically, no.
So it's basically storage for, I would imagine, the morally bankrupt action of using souls in magic.
Well, that depends. There are shades of gray. For example, the head minister of the Temple of Tysus. They manage a vault, a sacrarium, but only for the volunteers to Tysus' service, the permanent residents that protect their vault.
So they consensually cast their souls into this.
Correct. A sacrarium is neither benevolent nor evil. It is a tool, an object used by practitioners for millennia.
It just matters what your intentions are for them, I suppose.
Correct. Same with a phylactery. Often they are assumed to be included in the practices of a lich, but many magics require a phylactery, and none of them are quite so evil.
How does one build a sacrarium? What is it made of? How long does it take? How big is it?
I've never made a sacrarium myself. What matters is the enchantments placed within the sacrarium. No mortal substance short of adamantine and mithril can keep a soul within a certain location. It is thought that diamond is a good way to contain a soul, but when it comes to possessing multiple souls in a small location, it is the magic that matters. And frankly, lining a room with diamonds is just impractical.
That does sound very expensive.
Ludicrously so.
Okay, so say you wanted to store several hundred souls in one place.
Well, one could simply discover the amount of space required using a magical formulae. You simply need to devise the willpower of the souls that you intend to contain by the space you have. The more willpower souls have, the harder they are to contain.
Does that make sense?
And he shows you a formula.
I
It's
look at it.
it's an arcane script that he draws in front of you. Roll me a history check.
Okay. 16.
You saw this formula already
In the book?
in the book.
I see. So the size of the space doesn't matter as much as the power of your magic or
Correct.
your enchantments. You could have a shoebox-sized sacrarium and fit 400 souls in there if you're powerful enough.
You would need a very potent enchantment to contain so many souls within such a tight confine.
So the expectation is, if you're going to contain hundreds of souls, it's probably going to be decently large, even if you are powerful.
Yes, I would expect so. May I ask, Lorna? Why so many questions about soul containment vessels, as typically these are the conversations one has when perusing the possibilities of necromancy?
So, you remember Saccharin, right? And she'll touch her necklace.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a little restless about his purpose in life because he was created during the War of the Dead for the express purpose of fighting necromancers and evil, and as most of his charges from back then are no more, We are trying to piece together further purpose for him.
And what does sacrariums and the amount of storage souls require have to do with a purpose for your sentient item?
Well, he has a particular history with Lucius Toloi and others like him, and we want to make sure that the world is expunged of any traces they may have had in the past that have not been rectified yet, that may not be known of yet. I did a lot of research about the War of the Dead when I was in Augur City, and my research led me in this direction.
And yet you have not explained why you are asking about sacrariums.
I believe Lucius Toloi may have had a sacrarium, and I was thinking maybe I could find it if I had an idea what I was looking for.
Should Lucius Toloi have a sacrarium, Lorna Halloweth, a powerful war criminal would have defended such a location with means far beyond the power of a student wizard at the Marigod Academy.
I'm putting the pieces of the puzzle together, sir. I didn't say I was solving it right away.
I am concerned, Lorna.
I need you to roll me a deception check.
Okay.
Hold on. Tabernac looks at you, and you see the unseen servant that was like out of your peripheral holding up a book. The book is slowly set down on the stage, and then all the paperwork around you stops moving as Tabernac says,
You need not fess the truth to me, Lorna, but please do not assume I am a fool, for that would be trying my patience.
I wouldn't ever assume you are a fool, sir.
These are powerful magics you are searching for. These are dangerous magics, well beyond your means. If necromancy is a course you wish to partake,
It's not.
it is best you be honest with me.
The last thing I ever want to do is become a necromancer.
Then why do you care to find a sacrarium to a dead man?
I told you a half-truth. There is a sacrarium, and I do want to find it, but not because I want to exploit it. It's because I think it needs to be destroyed. Or any traces of the creator of such a thing.
I see. And how did you learn about such a sacrarium? Whose is it, I should ask, if not Lucius Toloi's? Because I do not believe he was in the business of gathering souls to keep for later.
He had people he worked very closely with, and one of them was a second hand to him,
Well,
who I think history has made the mistake of forgetting.
Lorna, I remind you, I was there. So, who is it that you are referencing?
Her name was Lorna Talahand.
A vestige of the Wizard Circle, if I recall.
You're correct. She was part of them, and then for some reason joined the followers of the Star.
She was outcast. I had a hand in that.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you even knew who she was.
Of course I knew who she was.
You had a hand in outcasting her.
Yes, I
thought
did.
you were young then, and no, I guess this was only a couple hundred years ago. So, okay, can you please tell me more?
I will offer you a satisfaction for your curiosity if you offer me a satisfaction for mine.
What is it?
Who is this person to you? That you would lie to a brass dragon?
How good is your memory?
Tabernac blinks at you.
Do you remember what she looked like?
Yes, I do.
Well, you could say we're related.
You see Tabernac's, like, his face doesn't change. And he says,
Well, isn't that interesting? Miss
You knew her.
Talland.
How did you not put that together if you knew her?
The world is a funny place,
Suppose.
Lorna. And you are not Lorna Talland, though you may look like her. Appearances can be deceiving, and I would assume nothing should I not learn the truth about a person.
What happened?
Lorna Talland was practicing magics that would allow her to take over individuals from the inside out. She was studying necromancy and blending it with enchantment magics. The sort of things that are frowned upon in a situation such as the time was, where wizards who were raising bodies from the dead for their own bidding were reviled. The War of the Dead was truly a chaotic time. It was dangerous. Within the city walls, individuals were coming back to life against their will by sorcerers miles away. No one understood how or why it was happening, and Lorna Talland was using magic that was not within her grasp, or at least should not have been. Lorna Talland was a talented wizardess. None could deny that. But it was once she began to manipulate people to cast spells for her, in her name, but in cities miles away, questions began to be raised around the wizard circle. I did not trust her. I saw selfishness, but more than that I saw a ruthlessness that I could not abide within city walls. And so I pushed for her to be outcast. A fact I don't believe she ever forgave me for.
She knew you. You knew her. She knew you. Pushed for her expulsion.
Yes.
And she was.
Yes, she was.
She went immediately to the followers of the star.
Unfortunately, I admit a feeling of guilt for that consequence.
She would have been doing what she was doing, whether she was hiding in the circle or amongst the followers.
Well, when you have a powerful wizard using the resources of every arcanery can gather within one city to create moving corpses with the semblance of living beings, you try and damage control.
Right. And she went and became the second-hand Tilda's Taloy.
This I did not know.
Something I discovered. I don't know how her time with him ended, or when her time ended, but I know I don't even know if this aquarium is hers. It is and it isn't. It's a little complicated.
If she
It
had a
was.
sacrarium when she was part of the Wizard Circle, it was created before she joined.
It was. The fact of the matter is, I learned that this aquarium was made before she was inducted into the Wizarding Circle.
And
It
you
might
wish
have.
to find it.
I do. Well, I wish to understand. I feel like if I find it, I can understand more of my family's history. And maybe try to fix it.
While I will not confess to understand your situation, I suppose that is not necessary. I understand your want to understand the history. Unfortunately, many records of the followers of the star were destroyed by them themselves.
Damage control.
Yes, in a few words.
Burning a paper trail, that sort of thing, I'm sure.
Thank you for telling me the truth, if
Sorry.
after some nail pulling.
I'm sorry. You can imagine why I don't like to own up to this.
Well, if your grandmother, I assume, is just as evil as I thought she was, well, you certainly have fallen quite far from the tree. From what I can tell, you, aside from an appearance, are nothing like her.
I hope that's the only thing I got from her.
Right. Were there any other questions that you had for me?
Yes, but I'm not very confident you'll have an answer, not because you don't have many amazing answers, but this seems to be a very closely kept secret in my family.
I do enjoy being underestimated.
Prove me wrong. In some writing I've managed to get from my family's history, there was something called a nightingale, but nothing more than the name I've managed to gather, but it seemed important.
Roll me a D100.
Okay. 72.
Nightingale.
Not the bird.
I imagine not. Let me see.
It was written as the Nightingale.
Tabernac begins turning into his human form. And as he does, he is striding toward the shelves and bookcases that are behind the stage. And you see that he opens a closet door and begins looking at the covers of tomes. He pulls out a broad one, a very thick book with no cover. It looks more like a leather-bound journal than an actual text or tome. And as he begins shifting through it, I need to roll.
Ooh.
Well, there are a few references to nightingales within history. I stand firmly in the belief that you are not referring to the bird, so we can just dismiss those.
Right.
The myths, legends.
That's why it was hard to look
nightingales.
for in the Arcanium, because it's very word choice specific. I didn't want a whole bunch of books on birds.
Right.
I need to make another roll. Jesus. Okay.
right. Well, this is odd. In the records of disruptions within the weave, this arcane rune... And he picks up another book. He begins skimming through it. What year... And he pulls another book. He sets another book down. And you begin watching as just a chain of connections are being drawn as Tabernac is looking through these books that are ancient. Ancient, and for the most part, they look Ceresian.
Of course.
He holds up a book and he says, "We are getting somewhere."
Really?
There was a unique burst of magic in the year 5796 at the hands of the followers of the star. According to these arcane runes, the spell that was cast, whenever you cast a spell, there are translations. This translation, or at least transliteration, seems to spell out Nightingale's rebirth. But it was cast through a magical object that I can only guess was a mythalar, which makes me believe it likely was through the hands of the followers of the star, or by someone using their mythalar, because it is now common knowledge the followers of the star were abusing a mythalar in order to manipulate vast hordes of undead all at the same time. Does the word Nightingale's rebirth mean anything to you?
Does it?
Uh,
Other than Nightingale.
Roll a history. Actually, I don't know if you can roll this high.
I don't know, it's 11. Fucking nothing.
No, you've never... Like, the word Nightingale's there.
No, I don't know anything about this, sir.
I've never heard of this before. Make a note of Nightingale's rebirth. We must look into that.
Of course. The mythalar that the followers were using, what happened to it?
It was destroyed. The hero of Ceres, Zola Belmorn, destroyed the mythalar,
Right.
creating
Of course, I know
the
that. I'm
scar.
Ceresian.
Yes.
Oh, shit, I just said that out loud, didn't I? I've been trying to keep that a secret.
Really, you do need to practice this.
Thank you, sir. I'll take that into account.
You did also confess to me you were related to Nonella Tanahan, so I knew you were Ceresian.
Because she's Ceresian.
Yes,
Right.
you're very quick, Lorna.
Sorry, the history of
He's
my
not-
family has been safeguarded.
He's not even looking up at you as he's talking. He's like looking through these books. He's like trying to find more about this, and he says,
This is truly baffling. It looks as though this, whatever this is, it looks like a spell or an incantation. I would guess, based on the imprint within this record, that it was a ritual cast using a mythalar. Very powerful, only cast once. If
Do
it's
you
been
think-
cast again, I don't know where, but there's no record of it.
But it'd be noticeable, wouldn't it? Because it's...
Well,
So-
any casting through a mythalar, it makes a permanent imprint on the weave, which is why it's here.
Do you need to be a specific skill level to even accomplish this? Is it like a 10th level spell where you need multiple wizards?
I don't know. I don't know what this is, unfortunately.
and he shows you what he's looking at, and it looks like just a vast sets of dates and arcane runes. Do you speak Celestial?
I don't think so. Sure don't. Speak
Okay.
the opposite.
You do recognize Celestial runes. And he's saying, these are the implementations provided to us by a prophet of Magos.
Oh, yes.
These are what were recordings of vibrations along the weave during the War of the Dead, which is the only reason I even have this. Someone or someones cast a very powerful spell, ringing the name Nightingale's Rebirth, and I have no idea what it did, or where it came from.
I would wager that Nalina had something to do with it.
That is... I don't know about that.
Why not?
These recordings show that this was cast in 5796.
Right? Do you know when...
I'm aware that Nolina was first, I believe it was in the early 20s, that she joined the circle.
5821, yes.
Yes.
Do you know how old she was when that happened?
She was young, but not that young. I would guess maybe 32, 33. It's hard to tell with these half-elf folk.
Well, you think she might have been too young, but I have it on fairly good authority that Nalina passed herself through skins for quite some time.
Well, if she does have something to do with it, well, that's just inconvenient.
Is it?
Yes. Because her remains would have been absolutely destroyed by Tysus as he came and cleansed the earth of the followers of the star.
And that's a bad thing?
Well, if even her skeleton was to be found, we could cast Speak with the Dead.
I see. To ask her... what the fuck?
Exactly.
I see your point. I suppose finding her old stomping grounds would be useful. If she left anything behind that wasn't a corpse. That's why I wanted to find the Sacrarium, because I figured there might be something. Like a space, a study, a library, something like that.
Well... the Mythalar was destroyed in 5901. So, if her stomping ground was within the scar, it's not there anymore. Everything was destroyed when the Mythalar was destroyed. If her stomping ground was outside of the realm of the scar, then, well, it might be findable. I don't know where she called home.
I would wager Northern Ceres.
Well, I'll tell you what. Finish your studies here. Prove yourself worthy of a contractor. Do that, and I will personally aid you in finding this Sacrarium, as I admit feeling some responsibility.
I appreciate that, sir.
Think nothing of it until you have passed your exams.
Right. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you for eventually getting the truth out of you.
It's embarrassing.
Why?
I suppose embarrassing isn't the right word. Shameful is the right word.
I don't agree.
Well, I know that most people you ask would say, it's not you, it was somebody else. But, you know, there will be people who kind of judge you for the actions of your predecessors.
Your predecessors, if Lorna Talahand is one, which I am convinced she was, were extremely powerful. They were brilliant and intuitive. You should not feel ashamed to be coming from such stock. You should take a sense of pride in it. Whatever choices they may have made with that power, that is their shame, not yours.
Well, that's all I have for now. If I learn anything more, you'll be the first to know.
Very well. Then I will see you in the morning.
Of course.
And you see he kind of helps you, escorts you off the stage, and then turns back into a dragon.
I'm going to wave at Callie and go find Maxwell. So I'm going to talk to every teacher you have.
Okay.
I got way more than I thought I was going to get out of that conversation. Holy shit.
As you head to where Maxwell usually is, the selections room, Maxwell's not in there.
Or he is, and I just can't see him.
Okay.
I'm going to poke my head and just go, Maxwell!
There's no response.
Fuck. She's going to go to Persh.
Persh looks up at you and says, "Aye,
Do you know where Mr. White is?
likely in the rogue classroom. Do you need him?
Yes.
Is
But
it
I don't... It's not incredibly important. Like, I don't want you to pull him out of class. I can just go and wait for him to be available. If you could just tell me where it is.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not permitted to do that, Miss Heatherwith.
You're not... What? Why?
You're not a rogue.
You've shown me where other rooms are.
Mm-hmm.
She looks confused.
He's not even looking at you. He's got his face down in the parchment and is currently writing something down.
Oh, it's a rogue thing that the room is hidden.
Right.
Ugh, fuck me. When is class over? When do the rogues usually let out?
It's up to Mr. White, really. I'd imagine maybe about 4.
And it's... What time?
It's about 3.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to, while she waits, she's going to go get a new spellcasting focus.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, she'll just go into town for a little jaunt.
You go into Ferrum proper.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
As you do, I need you to roll me a d8.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay. With a 3, you do not have a random encounter. You hustle your way down the main street, past the market, past the South Docks.
I'm going to the Griffin's Bag.
Okay. The Griffin's Bag is this structure here. As you arrive at it, you see it is a beautiful, almost like red mahogany building with wide windows. And as you enter, it's beautiful and full of all sorts of magical items. You see that there are massive shelves and bookcases full of scrolls and potions and component jars, and beyond them you see there are weapons and cloaks and robes and scarves and boots, and then you see beyond that is an entire rack of staves from one end of the room to the other. And above that you see another smaller rack of various wands, next to which is a huge case filled with rings. And as you're looking around, you see the counter. There is a tabaxi who's looking up at you, and he's kind of this white and gray tabaxi. Looks at you and he says,
Oh, hello. I don't believe we've seen you before.
Hello, are you the owner of the store?
I am Glass on the Candle, but you may call me Glass. And you
It's
are?
a pleasure. My name is Lorna. I'm a student at the Mare Guard.
I can see that.
Yet, advertising.
It is a pleasure. How may we help you today here at the Griffin's Bag?
I'm actually in the market for a new spellcasting focus.
A little bit, maybe not so careful with your previous one.
No, I gave it as a gift to the Avatar of Magos.
I'm sure you did. All right.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, yes, I believe you.
He had a big elk with blue weaving through his horns.
Fascinating, indeed.
Such a dick. Okay, well, you don't have to believe me, but it happened.
I am sure it did.
Glass, don't
Yes?
patronize me.
You are patronizing me, actually.
I'm gonna bang my head against the wall as a pre-action. I am looking for not just a spellcasting focus, but something that I could get a little more utility out of. Maybe a little extra add-on. I have a bit of gold in my pocket.
Okay, maybe I have exactly what you are looking for. Are you trying to make your spells? I assume you're a wizard?
Yes,
Sorcerer?
that's right.
Wizard. All right. I assume you want your spells maybe to hit a little harder, or would you rather they be harder to resist?
Both are good.
You cannot. I do not know if you could afford both, and
well,
I do
no,
not
both-
mean that as an insult. They're just
Both
expensive.
sound nice. I'm also interested if maybe it has like a wand of magic missile, or it has like an extra feature to it besides just being more effective.
Oh, I see.
One or the other,
Well,
I'm really looking for something interesting.
hold on a moment. Let me pull up my shop notes here.
Shotes. I can't believe Glass just brushed me off.
He's not. He's paying apt
No,
attention.
I was telling him the truth. He didn't believe me.
Okay. Sorry, I appear to have lost my proper... Oh, here we go. Okay. He gestures for you to come toward the counter, where he pulls out a long list. And as he's looking at it, he says,
I have all sorts of wands that you may be able to use as a spellcasting focus. Let's see.
I'm also interested in rings.
Oh, okay.
I could do, honestly, either. They both sound like they'd suit me.
Well, the drama of a wand is sometimes more appealing to casters instead of
a ring. However, we can definitely appease both options.
I am on a budget, and I would prefer not to go over 200 gold pieces.
I see.
I'm sure that will
Okay.
narrow it down quite a bit.
It does make things a little bit easier on me, yes. Okay. Now, fitting within the 200 gold budget, I have a wand of detect magic I can sell you for 125 gold pieces. I have a wand of light that I can cast light. Yes, that I could sell you for 75 gold pieces. And I have a wand of burning hands that would be 200 gold pieces. I also have a wand of the war mage that would be 130. And that
That
one,
too.
it makes all of your spells more reliable to hit, if you understand.
Mechanically, it
Okay.
adds a +1 to your spell attacks and
That's
damage
pretty
rolls.
sexy.
And then the rings. Well, hold on.
And he picks up another list as I go back to my notes.
Ah, making you work.
Yes, very much. Okay. I do not have very many rings that would fit within what you are hoping for, unfortunately. The cheapest ring I have happens to be a ring of warmth. The sort of ring that keeps you protected from cold weather and it grants you resistance to cold damage, which can be very situationally useful if you are, say,
Sure.
attacking a white dragon. Otherwise, maybe not the most effective in all cases.
Honestly, I think I'm most interested in the Wand of the War Mage.
All right. Wand of the War Mage. And as he closes up the lists, he goes over toward the rack. And as he picks up a Wand of the War Mage. Hold on a second here. You see a beautiful, very smoothly polished, sanded. It's a very good-looking wand. It's pale white wood with a dark purple gemstone set into the tip of it. And as he takes it down, he holds it out to you. It gives you... Mechanically, it adds +1 to your spell attacks, and it also allows you to ignore half cover.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I'll take it.
200 gold pieces.
I thought you said 130.
Did I say 130?
You
Let
said
me
200 gold pieces for the burning
Let
hands.
me look back at my list, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
As I go back to my notes.
Mm-hmm.
This was not Glass trying to screw you. This was me, the DM, missing my notes. Yeah. Wand of the War Mage, 130 gold pieces. You are correct. Thank you for keeping me honest.
Of course, I have a very good memory.
Right.
She will plop that gold down on the table and slide it over to him.
You are free to patronize us any time. Thank you for your business.
And you now have a Wand of the War Mage +1.
Nice. That's an improvement over Crystal, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think so. You do recognize the gem in the end to be an amethyst.
I like those.
Well, that's good.
Purple.
Purple.
Yee, okay. Thank you so much. That's all I wanted.
It has been a pleasure working with you.
I look forward to seeing you again.
You might.
And Glass turns to deal with other customers as you leave the store.
Hopefully the walk there, the perusing, buying, and then the walk back is enough time for class to let out.
Roll me a d8.
8.
Roll me a d100.
Feck. 36.
Okay. Let's see. As you're walking, there's a moment of quiet, and you hear a conversation. You're near one of the alleys as you're moving by, and just as you're passing the East Park, you hear some adventurers talking about what sounds like a dragon being sighted near Ferrum. A black one.
That would jog Lorna's memory to when she had Requiem as a bird flying around the Alden Forest, and he spotted what looks like the signs of a younger dragon's nesting.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, those are probably related.
Do you stay to listen or do you keep moving?
I think she would just note that. It's not a surprise to her because she is privy to the existence of a dragon in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I think she would note that and be like, well, I can't fight a fucking dragon.
Fair.
Why would I? He's probably just minding his own business.
Right. So,
Black dragons are notoriously kind.
Sure. You note that there's been dragon sightings in the area.
Mm-hmm.
You
And she moves
continue on. Okay.
Sure.
You make your way to the Merigard Academy. As you return to it, we will say it's been long enough that
Yeehaw.
class has been let out. And you see as you enter, Persh is having a conversation with Maxwell.
Ah. He points at him as soon as she sees him. I
Persh.
see you.
Maxwell turns and looks at you and he says, "Right, can I help you?"
You actually can. Can we have a conversation, please?
Aye. He kind of taps on the desk, looking at Pershins. He says, "Well, I suppose you were right." And Maxwell turns to you and says, "Why don't we step outside?"
You're not going to show me the rogue classroom?
Do you want to be a rogue?
Maybe.
No. Right this way.
She pouts and follows him. That's not fair. I'll ask Skolna later. She'll tell me.
She'll tell you what?
Where the rogue classroom is.
You think she'll tell you anything?
It's true, she's not really talkative.
And as he opens up the door, he kind of gestures for you to step outside, and he
Actually, as she's following him, she's like, I bet there isn't even a rogue classroom, and like the world is your classroom.
says, "Got it in one."
I'm so smart.
As you are standing outside, Maxwell kind of like steps away from the front doors, and you have a bit of privacy here with Maxwell. And he turns to you and says, "Right, what is it?"
So, is there anybody around? Are they alone?
No, Maxwell has brought you to an isolated
Okay,
area.
all right. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but on my first day, I did see you flipping a coin around, and it made me think that maybe you could help me with something.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not a rogue, so how direct should I be about this? Should I just be like, this is the thing, or
How
should I
much-
like try to
How much
veil
time do
this?
you want to waste?
I really don't want to waste any time.
Then just tell me what you want.
So, how much do you know about the seventh trellis?
A bit. Why?
Because I want to know more about the seventh trellis.
All right. What do you want to know? Let's start with, what do you know?
There's a region-based. Pretty much exclusively, right?
Yeah, they're not really anywhere else.
I know they're doers, in the sense that they'll do what you want for the right price. And there's no real moral limit to that.
They're a mercenary group. That's pretty much the run and tell. They
Like us?
specialize... Nah, not really. They specialize in assassination.
But they do other things, right?
Of course they do.
Would you be able to look into something that they might be up to?
I need you to stop beating around the bush here, Lorna.
I'm sorry. To my knowledge, the seventh trellis is looking for a young woman in Ceres.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know if they have any leads. Or if they're completely grasping in the dark.
Right. You want information on the Seventh Trellis and how they're handling a bounty?
Yes, it's not an assassination that I'm aware of.
All right.
It's more like a lost and found return.
I warn you, I'm not a part of the Seventh Trellis.
Yeah, I realize that. Because there's a region based in Aurelia. But I just would like to know if they're getting close or not.
Alright. I need to know why this is important to you.
Because it's me.
Okay. Are they looking for Lorna Hathaweth?
No.
Who are they looking for?
Dahlia Cross
Alright.
of the Cross family.
I'll see what I can do.
I do know that the man who put out the reward, the Balin Cross, is in jail right now because of his actions, kind of tearing apart Southern Ceres with the Seventh Trellis.
Well,
But
it's
I want to know
likely
when.
the Seventh Trellis had put a hold on his contract then.
Oh, that's true. He wouldn't be able to pay them, would he?
They don't work for those in trouble with the law.
Aren't they in trouble with the law?
No.
See, I don't know how it works.
They're in trouble with the law if they get caught and evidence points to the Seventh Trellis.
Right.
Which is why they don't work for people who are in trouble with the law.
Right. But they would know his status as their previous employer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to know if he gets out of prison. Like, right away.
I'll look into this for you, Lorna. However, you can't expect... Alright. I realize you're likely new to this mercenary business.
Yes.
For the most part, a mercenary company keeps their contracts hush-hush, as it were. Especially to outsiders.
Right.
I do happen to have some connections within the Seventh Trellis. I can maybe ask the right questions. But if they ask for a favor, I'm not going to.
I understand that you wouldn't put yourself out there like that.
Not until you are a recruit.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's just a shot
That's
in the dark. No, it's fine. I would be remiss if I didn't try.
Well, it's a simple sending. I'll see what I can do. See what I can find out. I'll let you know.
I do have one more question that probably doesn't involve you really doing any digging.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why the Seventh Trellis might be written in Celestial?
Where?
In a book? It was a trade log with the Hammerleys. Instead of in Dwarvish, it was in Celestial, and I thought that had to mean something.
It might mean something, but it doesn't mean something to me.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask. Like, maybe they're notorious for using Celestial.
No. The only reason I can think of writing something in an unusual language in a trade log is you're trying to keep it a secret.
Sure, and I guess Celestial's not a super common language to know.
No, it's pretty rare.
That makes sense. Okay, that's pretty much all I wanted to know.
All right. I'll let you know when I find out.
I appreciate that.
If I get an answer, you'll know as soon as I do. If I don't get an answer, well, sorry.
I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome. Was there anything else?
No.
All right. I'm going to go get some to eat.
Good idea. I'm gonna do that too. I haven't seen my friends in a minute.
Maxwell kind of nods, and he goes into the academy.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you do the same?
Yeah.
Okay. As you step into the Mary Guard, you see Persia's back at the counter, and the room is kind of loud as people are going from their classes to the mess hall or heading out the Mary Guard Academy to wherever it is that they're trying to go. It is a little bit of a crowd at the moment. Roll me a perception check.
I would like to point out that I'm specifically looking for Skull now. Just because I'm trying to spot her. Not for anything in particular.
Okay.
But my
Roll me a
perception
perception.
is pretty good. She's probably gonna roll away with herself, but I'm gonna sneak up on her.
You don't see Skolna.
God damn it. One of these days. Okay, I go to the mess hall, look for my friends.
Who specifically are you looking for?
Anscombe.
Oh, he's easy to spot.
I'm gonna sneak up on him.
Okay. Do you get food first, or are you surprising him
No,
first?
I'm going up to him first.
Okay.
On the risk of eating shit, I don't want to spill my spaghetti, you know?
It looks like Anscombe has just sat down at a table. You see across from him is a stout cleric woman that you see as Sagona. As he's just sat down, you see that on a platter in front of him is an assortment of, looks like meat and gravy and potatoes. What do you do?
I want to walk up behind him and put my hands over his eyes.
Roll stealth.
Ah, terrible.
So as you are walking up, you're sneaking up behind him, and then you feel something push against your leg, and you hear an and you, like a stool has been shoved aside. And Anscombe looks by and says, "Oh, hey,
Ah, fuck, that hurt.
you all right?"
You ever just bang your shin on some asshole's stool?
Yeah. And he's like looking, and you see that there is a gnome who is about to sit down and is like just looking at you, sad that his stool has been like kicked over. Sorry about that, Anscombe says to the gnome as you are just bitching about the stool.
I'll just pout and sit down.
Next to Anscombe.
Yeah.
Okay. Anscombe looks at you and he says, "It's been a minute. Where have you been?"
Fuck. It was a free agency that took me all the way to Augur City.
You got to go to Augur City?
I did. It was my first time there.
I've never been.
Aren't you from around here?
Well, yeah, but it's still, that's a ways.
I actually saw the King's Moot.
No kidding.
Yeah, I saw the election of the new king of Aurelia. Well, I didn't get to go inside. I had to sit outside, but I was there, you know?
Sure. You see anybody just extremely fancy and obnoxious?
Yeah, I saw the king of Ceres fly in on an airship. It was amazing.
Okay, that's not really obnoxious. That just sounds...
No, it was amazing. Like, I've seen airships. This was like I don't know how it flew. It was made of so much gold.
That sounds heavy and ridiculous.
Exactly. But he seems really nice. Like he's like older, but he's got like the laugh lines, you know? Like he seems like he has a good sense of humor.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And his wife was woof.
You know what they say about the Queen of Ceres?
Do I?
It's that is, you know, that's a common phrase. It's
He's
just
got it going on.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Stacy's mom.
of course I knew that. Yeah, Queen of Ceres has got it going on. Yeah, well, they weren't kidding. Yeah, so it was completely uneventful. Nothing interesting happened, other than that.
Anscombe like furrows his brow and he says, "You went to the capital and nothing interesting happened."
I went to the library.
You are not telling me so much.
What?
How boring. That was your whole free agency. You went to the capital, saw some nobles show up, and left.
Well, it was a job, Anscombe.
Yeah, just the last time you went to free agency, like, we got stabbed.
Oh, I was stabbed.
What the fuck? You have to mention that.
So this is after we left Augur City.
But it was still during the...
Yeah. Yeah, so Sagona, do you know who Enosa is? She's gonna turn across the table.
Sagona has like a mouth full of like bread and gravy, and she's, yeah,
She sucks.
yeah, and she like takes a
Swallow,
drink and
please.
swallows. Yeah, she sucks. What?
Me and my free agency partner, we were camping. It's like the first night out of Augur City on the road, and these two dark elves assailed us while we were sleeping, while I was on watch. Um, and they tried to kidnap us.
You see, Sagona says, and they were followers of Enosa?
Yeah, because after we kicked their ass, well, after Requiem kicked their asses, she's gonna pet his head. One of them had the symbol of Enosa on him, so that's kind of how me and Tare figured what their designs were for attacking us in the first place.
You see, Sagona looks genuinely, like, not happy about this, and she says, if there are followers of Enosa about, that's bad news.
That's not usual?
No.
Oh.
They're
Well, it's okay.
slavers.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's how I figured. Because Requiem knew what Enosa was all about. So he killed them. And
Who's Requiem?
my dog, and his little white eyes peek up above the table.
Sagona, like, looks at Requiem, and she says, you still have that ghost stock. You still have that grim.
He's mine. He saved my life. I would be in like the back of a cart with my hands tied and my mouth bound if Requiem wasn't with me.
All right. I'm sorry for doubting you, Requiem. Sagona says to Requiem, who is like, he's seated, kind of seated, on like the bench next to you, and he just like is looking at Sagona, and you hear Requiem say, you are forgiven.
He forgives you.
If I may have some of that gravy.
He would like your gravy, though.
Sagona looks down at her food and she says,
just a little.
Roll a persuasion.
He likes the taste. Pretty damn good. She feels bad about dissing my dog.
She does. Sagona, thinking, like, looking at you,
Or I make puppy eyes.
She picks up, like, she takes, like, the side plate that her bread was on, and she puts the most of the meat that she had on her plate, and then shoves the plate of gravy over toward Requiem, who begins to ghostily try to eat the gravy, and he is mostly successful. There is some weird clipping of his mouth through the plate and table.
I love that so much.
But
who's that poorly rendered doggo?
As he's eating the gravy, you hear, this day has gotten so much better.
Thank you, Sagona. You've really made amends with him. But you didn't get to the best part of my story, which was we defeated the slavers with the help of Requiem, of course. And then when I found their symbol of Enosa, I really stuck it to that bitch.
How do you mean?
Threw a symbol in the fire, just to show her who's boss.
You see Sagona's face go white.
What?
You burned her holy symbol?
She tried to enslave me?
Oh, Lorna. And she,
What?
like, begins rubbing her face.
What?
You never anger a god. Good or bad or neutral, you never burn one of their symbols.
But she sucks.
It doesn't matter.
I wanted her to know that she sucks.
She doesn't care about your opinion of her.
Well, whether I burned it or not, I think she sucks. You know, like, wouldn't that be an insult anyways?
It does. Oh, you.
Should I be worried?
Yeah. You need to.
Nothing's happened. It's been several days, and all I saw was like, I kind of saw like a trick of the light.
No, you
But-
didn't. You've caught the ire of Anosa, Lorna. This is not good.
I assumed I had it when she was like, yes, those two would be good for kidnapping.
It was... No, you... Okay, what do you know about gods, Lorna? Like, I realize this isn't magic and shite that you can read about in Tabernacle's library, but what do you know?
They have domains and kind of specific realms they preside over.
Yeah? What else?
When you die, you get judged,
Yeah? What else?
and then you go to like their plane, whoever you followed, or I don't actually know how it
I was
works.
gonna say, I feel like you're walking in shallow water here. All
Like,
right.
where do I go when I die? Because I don't follow a god.
That's for Croesus to decide.
Well, what happens if you don't subscribe to a god? Is there like a limbo or like a middle plane for people who are like, eh?
No. If you don't subscribe to any of the deities, when you perish, Croesus judges your soul and sends you off to where you are best fitted.
So you still get sent to like a god's domain.
Yeah,
It's just the one that suits you best.
based on your judgment.
I hope I go to Magos. He seems nice.
Then maybe you should start praying to him.
Is this really a bad thing? Like,
It doesn't really matter if you pray to a god or not, but if you disrespect the holy symbol of a god, like if you destroy their shrine, if you insult them, you draw their ire.
I just
And
said she sucks like 4 times.
That doesn't matter as much as you burn in her holy symbol. That's a true sign of disrespect.
Well, I meant it. So,
Great. Then I guess you can deal with the curse that it comes with.
I'm cursed?
Yeah, Lorna, you're cursed.
But nothing's happened.
Yet.
What's gonna happen?
I don't know. It's up to Enosa. But
What
you're
should
on her
do about
radar.
What should I do about it? How do you get off the radar?
You fucking apologize?
That?
You need to have a ceremony performed. You need to have the curse cleansed of you. You need to have another god basically vouch for you.
Can you do that?
No.
Is that like a big thing?
It's more powerful than I can do.
I was already with Treat today. I don't want to go bother him again.
You might be fine for the night then.
I've
Maybe.
been fine for several nights. I just don't see how. I mean, she's not done anything.
Then, look, Lorna, here's what I know. You don't vandalize a holy symbol and you don't destroy a shrine to any god. They don't like it. And to make your life miserable is literally a penny in the pocket of a god. She doesn't even have to think about it.
Well, so if you're a cleric of Nier, and like a god that is like opposing tenets, like stands for everything you stand against, and you came across their shrine, wouldn't you feel like, yeah, I want to get rid of that?
If I got rid of it in the name of Nier, I'd be protected.
So I should have been like, for Magos, and then thrown it into the fire.
That would have been better than just throwing it into the fire for fuck all's sake.
Well, it was to tell her to fuck off. That's literally why I did it.
But you didn't do it for Magos, you did it for you.
Yeah, I suppose I did.
It matters for gods.
I go see Treat now.
Probably.
Is it gonna cost money?
I don't know. I've never done it.
What do you think about the Anscombe?
Anscombe has been like sitting there just like listening and he says, I think you did something stupid.
Ah, fuck.
Like you're really smart and you did a really dumb thing.
I don't know anything about gods.
Right.
They never played an important part in my life.
And if you come across magic you don't know anything about, do you fuck with it?
It was just a symbol. It didn't like radiate energy. It was just like wood. So I was like, fuck this. Yeet. You know?
Symbols mean a lot to the gods. I mean, you know that.
I do. So I ran into Magos when I was on my trip too. I guess I forgot about that as well.
What the fuck?
Anscombe, like, puts his head in his hand, and he says,
That's why I think he's a nice guy.
Did you run into Magos before or after you burnt a symbol?
After.
So you
But he was-
didn't...
No, he was just passing through, and I was like, oh, hello, you're Magos, because I recognized him because he was a big elk with blue horns.
And what did you do? You burnt his symbol too?
No, I gave him an offering because I like magic.
and from across the table, Sagona says, so you knew what to do for Magos, but when you saw the other one that was evil, you decided to piss her off?
I like Magos, so I did something I thought was nice. And I didn't like Inosa, so I told her to... Again, I don't know how more clear I could be about this.
Right. Okay.
So do you think I'm still in his good books?
Who, Magos? You're probably
Yeah.
you're probably fine.
So I could
Especially if you gave him an offering.
Could I like reach out and be like, hey, help?
You see Sagona look at you and she says, if you go to the Magos shrine in the cleric room and you pray to him, that might work.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give that a try, I guess.
Also, are you going to eat anything?
Yeah, I suppose. I'll go get dinner.
Okay.
Priority list. Dinner.
You
then
fucked
maybe
with
Fudge
Anscombe and
Burgers.
then you went to go. Okay. So you go ahead and get yourself some food. Dinner, it does appear to be what is basically these large beef steaks that are set over thick slabs of toast and then smothered in gravy with all sorts of potatoes on the side. It's very hearty, and when you eat it, you gain 8 temporary hit points.
Oh.
The golems
Hell yeah.
rolled well.
Yeah, they did. Lorna will eat dinner with her friends,
It is delicious.
and she'll think, maybe I could go to treat. I just don't see what the big deal is. Nothing's happened. If she was mad, she would have just smote me there, right? This is all internal.
Okay.
And then she thinks, I'm tired. I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
And then she's gonna go to bed.
Roll me a D100.
I don't like that you're face palming.
Roll me a wisdom save.
I don't like that you're asking me for a wisdom save.
Okay.
It's decent.
Okay. As you go to sleep, the sleep that takes you is cold, oily, even.
Ew.
It's not pleasant. You feel as though you've been wading through swamp water for days. When you open your eyes, you are in the cold, gray forest. There is no sign of the other. You are alone here. You see in front of you are shallow puddles of water that reflect the gray, misty sky above. Everything smells cold and dead. What do you do?
I think she's befuddled that the other one isn't here, but she would remember the Requiem's here the last time, so she would look around for him. Say, Requiem?
You don't see him.
Oh, fuck. I think she would start walking.
Okay. You begin to walk. The forest seems unchanging, relentless. There are no landmarks that pay you any perspective as to how far you're moving. You pass by puddles of water that seem remarkably uniform. Each tree is uninteresting, unremarkable, just like the ones that you passed before. As you're walking, you feel the strain in your legs as though you've been walking for quite a while. It doesn't feel as though you've walked for very long, but your legs feel tired, as though you've been marching up a hill for hours.
Atlantis?
Roll me a charisma save.
Oh boy. Pretty good.
The name echoes throughout the trees, bouncing back toward you. You feel as though when they bounce back, it's louder than when you said it. And then, almost as if a startled feedback you hear, and you turn, next to you, the other is there, and she says, "What?"
Oh, why weren't you here to greet me? Normally you are.
I don't need to be.
You don't need to be? I mean, I come here for you, so.
No, you don't. You come here for you.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, you're not me.
Hmm.
I thought you were. But you're not. You are something else.
Are you remembering more?
Yes.
What do you remember?
Death. I remember a lot of death.
Your own or the ones you caused?
Her head tilts. Roll me an insight check.
Gonna get a good roll now.
With a 14, the brows are furrowed. The jaw is set. You notice that the other, whoever this is angry.
Oh boy. Are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
What are you mad about?
This world is cold, unforgiving. It remembers everything, and I see it. Every moment. I watch him die.
Him?
Yes, him.
Who him?
You see there is frustration on her face. I don't want to say his name. I don't know his name. I want to say his name, but I don't want to say his name. As if it's a poison. As if it would hurt me.
Are you talking about Lucius?
No. Lucius is a fool.
I don't think you're talking about Remus.
No.
Do you remember him?
You see her eyebrows raise a little as she says his name. And she says, "Yeah, I remember him. Misguided. Devoted.
Sure you enjoyed that?
It was nice to be doted on. Occasionally irritating.
He's the same way he was when you left him.
Well, that's a shame.
Is it?
Blind devotion does not solve all problems. Makes
No,
a
but it
very
sounds
useful helper. But
convenient is what I was gonna say. It sounds convenient.
it can be. It can also be annoying.
Why did you marry him?
Because he loved me. I didn't love him. I couldn't love him.
Why?
I couldn't love anyone.
Why?
Because I swore I wouldn't.
Who?
You know this.
I don't. To him?
To me.
You swore to yourself. Who's the name you won't say?
I can't.
Does it have anything to do with the Nightingale?
You see her eyes open a little wider. No. Yes. Everything.
What is that?
Why do you ask so many questions? Why do you want to know? Why?
I want to know. Because everything that I am is because of you.
You're not me.
I said everything I am is because of you, not I am you.
You see that she kind of regards you. You were... new. You are because I ran out.
Run out of what?
You see that there's just a... she's basically staring off into the distance. And you see her eyes... Roll me a perception check.
Finally. Yes.
Okay, you see some shit.
Yes, I do.
In her eyes, they're the same as yours. Wide, bright. But they're tarnished at the edges by time and pain. Pain that's remembered now. And as you look in them, you see reflection. You look behind yourself, it's just the cold forest. But in the eyes, you see the reflections of fires. You see a man with a knife running it through his own skin on his arm. You see people running. You see pain. Not your own pain, but it looks like you. You see the other's pain. You see a brilliant blue sphere. Massive. Filling the reflection. Shining. You see your hand reaching out toward it, as if the reflection now envelops all of your perspective. You're reaching toward this massive blue sphere, and as you do, you feel the electrical spark of magic running through every nerve in your body. And it's cast out of you in thousands of directions, all of it converging to a single place. And then you're looking at the other again. You see tears are running down her face. But she doesn't look like she's crying. She looks like she's angry, and she looks at you, and she says, "Why do you ask me these things that I remember?"
I want to know.
I don't want to tell you.
I deserve to know.
No.
What happened with the Millar? What's the Nightingale's rebirth?
Get out.
No.
You don't get to choose.
I do. I'm staying until you tell me.
As you say that, you feel yourself being pulled away, as if the darkness is crashing around you. She says, you will never get to choose. You were my mistake. And then you are back in your bed.
That fucker.
You awaken. It is the morning. It's about maybe 5 in the morning. The suns are just beginning to rise. What do you do?
She's gonna flip. She's gonna flip over, put her face in her pillow, and scream. She's just so fucking frustrated. Now I think some of that anger on Atlantis's, the other's face, has remained.
Roll me a wisdom save.
Fuck. Please fail. 12.
As you scream into the pillow, you can hear it echoing back into your ears. When you pull your face up from the pillow finally, you hear a familiar voice say, "Now look what you've done. I hate this."
What? She says that out loud. Is that in her head?
Mm-hmm.
Are you here with me?
You hear like a sigh in your mind that was not your thoughts. I guess.
You don't get to hate this, Atlantis. You're the one in my head.
Stop calling me that.
What's your name?
I don't know.
Palerna?
No.
Nalina?
No.
Something different. What is it?
I don't know.
You don't get to push me out this time. You're stuck with me.
I don't have to answer.
You will. I have too many voices in my head. In my head.
What do you do?
Sakharin?
Yeah.
Do you hear that?
Do I hear what?
The other
I hear
voice in my
you.
head. The
No,
other voice that
that's
sounds
just
just
me.
like me. Okay, great. Awesome.
What?
As you were.
Alright.
Requiem.
Requiem is staring at you, and he says, "You seem distressed, Lorna."
I am distressed. Do you see her too?
I'm not sure what you mean.
My soul. What does it look like right now?
It looks split, as it always does.
It's different now.
I need to roll investigation for Requiem. Okay. He says, "It is different now. They are not at battle. One is pulling away from the other."
Which one?
The smaller one.
Atlantis. Thinks she can get out of this so easily. She's wrong.
Are you all right, Lorna? What can I do?
I don't know yet. Atlantis. Atlantis! I'm gonna start singing show tunes in my head if you don't fucking answer.
She doesn't reply.
What is the name you can't tell me? It's not Lucius. It's not Remus. I doubt it's Hushen. Even though you really fucked up there, thanks for that.
That is a legit laugh you hear.
Oh, so you remember him.
Sorry about that.
You skipped out on the bill and now I have to pay for it?
Wasn't on purpose.
Did you die before you could fulfill your promise to him? Multiple times?
In a manner of speaking, yes, and in a manner of speaking, no.
Were you ever planning on repaying him?
No. Not at all.
Where's the contract? Quid pro quo. I can do something for you. You can do something for me.
There's nothing you can do for me.
I'm sure I can find something. Unless you want to spend the rest of eternity as a passenger.
It is a marked improvement over the last 18 years.
So you remember now.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Yes.
And who I am?
Yeah. I will say I apologize for Remus's zeal.
You actually feel bad about that.
Yes.
It's fucking disgusting is what it is. At least you, above anybody else, could understand that.
I did not expect... Well,
You didn't expect him to keep the last bit of you safe?
do you think you know someone? Well, sorry.
Does he have your contract?
I don't know.
Would it still be in the house in Candinos?
I don't know.
I feel like we're gonna have to start working together.
Why? I'm just here for the ride, as you said.
As we're entangled.
I'm sure my purgatory, trapped in here with you, will be forever, as payment for my mistakes. But that doesn't mean I have to participate.
Or you could.
Why?
It would be a real nice thing to do.
Well, you know how I am about nice things.
I don't think you're impervious to nice things. You married Remus because he loved you, which was a nice thing to do. Even if he's absolutely batshit insane.
Well, no one's perfect.
And you told me before you remembered that you were sorry if you'd hurt me.
I still am. I
So
just
you're not
know very specifically what I'm sorry for.
But that means that you aren't impervious to goodness.
I don't know what it is that keeps me bound here to you. By all means, the magic should have let me go as soon as it failed.
I shouldn't have been born.
No, you were born, well, created, but you should have had a soul of your own.
I do.
Well, mostly.
Do you want to take over?
No,
You're done?
I want to rest.
Do you think people like you get to rest?
Probably not, but if it is damnation I am bound for, then let's get on with it.
I might be able to find a solution to our problem if you work with me.
Do you know how exhausting your unending optimism is?
Less exhausting than walking perpetually through the forest of darkness forever?
But then I had ignorance. And it was bliss. But you had
Was
to
it?
keep searching.
That sounds more like hell to me.
You had to keep unlocking new memories.
I lived in ignorance for 18 years, just like you did.
It was very nice. I got lots of sleep.
It wasn't nice. It was always going to turn out this way.
I am sorry about that.
Remus won't rest until you come back, you know.
Well, you may have to kill him.
For sure, yeah. There's no may.
Sorry.
Again. I believe that you're sorry, which means I believe that there's something good in you still. Maybe.
There were reasons for everything I did, you know. It wasn't just willy-nilly.
Well, I would understand that if you explained it to me.
Not today. That would be too easy.
We can start small.
Okay.
Are there any other names you remember besides the one I know?
No.
Insight check. My own thoughts.
It doesn't really work like that.
Book. Tone of voice?
Sure. Roll inside at disadvantage.
Okay. Can't see your face. I see my own face while I'm talking in the mirror. 15?
Hard to read. I know what you've unlocked, Lorna. Dahlia. Really, let's go with Lorna. That feels less gross.
You know, he called me doll.
Mm-hmm.
That's... Ugh. I imagine he got some sort of sick joy out of that.
I imagine. Look. As you have learned about your past, you've also learned about my past. I don't have much more than you do, aside from some side memories and a lot of pain. And now I am feeling quite depressed, and so I'm going to try to rest.
You're it's the second sentient thing in my head that is depressed. And that
It's going around.
it must be. It's really sad, actually. You guys need to cheer the fuck up. If Sacker knew you were in here, he'd be so pissed.
Saccharin is simple but useful.
Like all things.
No.
Mostly.
Many things are simple and not useful.
I don't like that I'm enjoying this conversation with you.
Well, you are the apple of my eye.
You're my mom?
More like a sister.
That just makes the whole thing with Rima's even weirder, but... I guess that's fine. Will you try to be honest with me as I learn more things? For the sake of...
I've been honest with you so far.
Well, you've been a little withholding.
I don't know the things I can't tell you.
I know
Lorna.
that. I'm understanding that now. What I'm saying is, as I discover more things, will you at least communicate with me about them?
I don't know.
Play it by ear, then. Can you see what I see?
Yes.
That's weird.
Sorry. I don't really choose to.
Alright, you didn't seem pleased about this arrangement either. You're not going to make weird side commentary while I'm doing things, are you?
I'm going to try to sleep.
Okay. Fine. You can sleep for now, but I'll have questions later.
There is no response.
Fuck.
And as you say that, that is where we're going to stop today's session.
Fuck! Dude, was there always a chance she was just gonna be in my head?
Yes.
Oh my god. Ah!
Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you had a good time. I look forward to next session.
What's happening?